This is Bourbon Bets, where bottles of bourbon are wagered over the power of arguments put forth by two idiots regarding their stupid opinions. Afterward, their pet android determines the winner will post a most scientific poll so the audience can decide. They also drink bourbon together.
Yeah, I'm ready.
That's how all the episodes start.
I've got Jerry Stiller right behind me. I'm ready.
All right. Welcome to Bourbon Bets.
I'm Blue Dolly.
He's the worst. And I'm Brimstone Deacon. Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus. It's about time.
It's
This
almost
Festivus season has been a long time building.
We've been waiting a long time. It's almost here. This is a very special episode. This is the Festivi gift episode. What's the plural of?
Yeah, Festivi. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, it is now.
So we know that anyone that listens to Bourbon Bets, it's got to be one of those
three of
people. Yeah, but I mean, it got to be one of those people that just waits until the very last moment before Festivus.
Guilty.
And then says, "Oh, I should order some gifts."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we've put together a little list of ideas that might help you out to meet the needs of all the different gifts for the different personalities in your life.
Did you say gifts? As in, like, images?
No. Gift.
Oh, gifts.
Presents.
Presents. Got it.
Okay.
Hang on. What are we drinking?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, well, I have some Elijah Craig here. And then I got complicated, and I also have a hot toddy sitting here that is a Bird Dog bourbon.
You have both.
I have both.
I thought you said you mixed them.
No.
Waste of the Elijah Craig.
Oh my goodness, no. Yes.
So you're going for the hangover with the toddy with the Bird Dog, and balance it out with the Elijah Craig. Got it.
Yeah.
I have, sadly, the last of the Evan Williams. You can't see it because of my background.
Invisible alcohol.
Invisible. Evan Williams single barrel. This is a just under 8-year bourbon. Very sad. Sláinte.
Sláinte.
All right, let's jump in here and go through these. These are organized by the type of person in your life.
Let's be honest, these are not organized.
Well, yes, I'm using the term loosely.
I see what you're saying. Yes,
these are labeled.
Yes, they're labeled, but yeah, okay. So
yeah, they're far from organized.
It's going to be a simple, I'll ask a question and you give the answer. Or you ask a question, I'll give an answer.
That's right.
I think the first two are for you, though. So I guess I go first.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so for the UPS, FedEx, Amazon driver in your life.
Well, this one was easy. This is a bottle of Bullet bourbon. That's it. A good, hard-working bourbon. It gets the job done just like those drivers do. Always pleasant. Shows up just when you need it. And very efficient.
And doesn't waste your time.
Doesn't waste your time. Yes, it's just all around very, very pleasant. Very nice.
All right, so this is like a follow-up one. What do you get for the USPS employee in your life?
Clearly Jack Daniels, because they don't deserve bourbon. By the way, I'm still running on a platform of defund the USPS. So
you didn't lose the election?
Yes, I would advise not getting him anything, but if you feel compelled for some reason, stay out of the bourbon aisle. Go to the Tennessee whiskey or
cough syrup.
The cough syrup or the cognac aisle or something. I don't know. Anywhere else. Vodka, actually. Maybe vodka.
Oh, yeah.
Reach down real low. Bottom shelf. The one with the red cap. That's what you want to get.
Plastic bottle.
The one in... you remember that episode of The Office where they're at the Christmas party and he goes into the liquor store and he gets the case of Papa vodka and he puts it up on the counter and he says, "You're an expert." is this enough to get 12 people wasted? He's like, yeah, I think that'll do it.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's my pick for your postal agent, employee, whatever they're called.
Agent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that description, actually.
Mm-hmm. All right. Those are two of mine. This one is near and dear to our heart. What do you get for your legal team? I mean, most people obviously have a legal team.
Well, I mean, they should. If they don't, they should.
Well, right. So if you don't have a legal team, you need to go get one so you can give them a gift.
That's like the gift that keeps on giving to yourself, right there.
You will need a legal team very soon.
So what you should get them, though, is fake ice cubes. Because you've already given them so much, you don't want to give them anything real.
That's right.
Anymore.
Yeah,
Nothing tangible.
You've basically signed away your soul to them already, so.
That's correct.
This is like an appeasement gift.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
How about the local artisanal cheesemonger in your life? What should you get for them?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think it's absinthe because, first of all, to be a local artisanal cheesemonger, you're probably already like a hipster, and you want them to feel like they're special and like you know them or something, and that's the gift they've been waiting for. And
yes, exactly.
If you get them anything else, they'll be super disappointed. So just go into your local liquor store, ask for the absinthe, wait for them to roll their eyes, say, I know, where is it? Hang your head in shame, and walk out.
And you got to get the sugar cubes too, right? At the same time.
Oh, and there's like a special spoon, I believe, as well. That
I'm sure.
All right.
Wow.
This next one's was really tough, I think. What do you get for your Baptist pastor?
You know, we had to think long and hard about this one because it's a Baptist pastor. Mm-hmm. So what we settled on was actually what I'm drinking tonight. Some Elijah Craig.
That's right.
It's named after a Baptist minister.
That's right. I think it's perfect. It's a perfect pairing. The irony will not be lost at all.
Yeah.
So
what you can do is you can just like take them out on your boat to go fishing and just leave the bottle sitting there, you know, right next to their seat.
Well, you could have a stack of red Solo cups, and that way, and you put the bottle and the cups at the back of the boat,
right,
away from everyone. They can go back, come back with a cup. You know, nobody asks any questions.
That's right.
That's the way to do it. All right, now that's your Baptist pastor. You had another pick, though, I think, for an ordained minister. What would you get for them?
Well, it's got to be preacher's pardon.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's soothing. It's wonderful. How can you go wrong?
I think it's a good call. Absolutely.
Well, I know this one is really dear to your heart.
I don't know how we ended up me having to do this one. Go ahead.
So I want to know what you would get the cart return minion at the local grocery store in your life.
Well, my answer was not accepted by the censors. So, first of all, I don't want to rehash history here. Let's just say it's his job, so he is going to be outside. So I want to be nice here. He probably, in this time of year especially, will need some hand warmers and a sody pop to
very good. That's big.
Quench his thirst as he's handling all the carts. You know, that button that he uses on the machine to push him back, it's taxing. So you don't want his hands to get cold and cramp up, and you don't want him to get dehydrated as he's wrangling the remote control. So.
You did a good job there. That's very big of you. I appreciate that you said that without any bitterness.
It took everything. It took everything in me. All right. What do you get for your milk storage engineer?
Oh, this one's actually easy. Of course, you get the third century of biochemical oxygen demand by Baird and Smith.
Yeah.
I
What
mean, that's
is there a particular edition?
I like the new revised. I think it's the third edition. Let me check. Hold on. Third edition. Yes, third
Third
edition.
edition? Yeah, that sounds like something that you'd go for. I'm a kind of an originalist. I go for the authorized version myself. But
Yeah, but the authorized version, from what I understand, doesn't it doesn't carry the same sort of nuance on oxygen demand that
look,
the
it was good
revised third
enough.
edition.
It was good enough forever. I don't know why we have to have all these new versions. I think we should go back to the authorized version. I mean, biochemical oxygen has not changed, so I don't know why we needed a new version to tell us about it. But
Yeah, but you got to remember this is a translated work, so
Baird and
translation.
Smith,
I
Baird
mean,
and Smith don't sound foreign to me. So,
oh, Baird is definitely foreign.
no, okay, my bad. Should do more research on these.
You should hear his accent; it's atrocious.
I'm sure it is similar to some of our listeners. All right, next.
So this also, see, you actually ended up with all the near and dear to your heart issues. What would you get? Let's say a executive producer intern.
Well, probably not what anybody would be guessing.
Kicking the pants.
Yes. Or a junior intern job. I think we're gonna go with a Russian novel. I haven't figured out which one yet. Certainly something very difficult and one that I've never read before. So I want someone else to vet it for me.
And long.
Very long, something at least 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
Preferably with about 400 characters, all of which have the same name. And you have to flip back and forth to the little guide that tells you, oh no, not that Vlad, the other Vlad. So
Exactly.
that, and we'll combine that. It's a dual gift. We'll get the novel and some pickled eggs.
Oh, well, that's perfect.
And because you're going to need a lot of them to snack on while you're finishing this novel.
Who doesn't want to sit down with a Russian novel and a carboy filled with pickled eggs?
Oh my gosh, it's like maybe the perfect Festivus gift.
You're right.
Near
Can
the
you
top.
imagine the next year what feats of strength you could display after having consumed that?
Having consumed all that, very interesting. We'll leave that as a thought experiment to the listener. All right, next on the list is your mega church pastor, and by that I mean your mega church pastor.
My megachurch pastor. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So my megachurch pastor would be receiving from me micro ave.
Is that French?
Micro ave.
Microave. Is that is like snails or?
I think it's very obvious.
Oh, a microave. Oh,
Yes, exactly,
okay.
exactly.
Got it.
Oh, was it the spelling that threw you off?
It was the spelling, yeah.
Okay.
Not the pronunciation. How many watts?
Oh, you got to go with a 500-watt machine.
500. That seems low.
No, you don't want to tax your circuits in your home.
It's not in the home. I thought. Oh, this is for the home, but the mega church pastor probably has a much larger microwave.
Oh, well, they probably do have a much larger home. That's true.
I think maybe a 500-watt one would be good for the limo. Well, it's probably not a limo though. It's probably like a
Helicopter.
a helicopter. That's perfect size for a helicopter.
Yeah.
You can warm up your Wawa Sizzly on the way to the office.
That's perfect, man. That's perfect. Well, okay. All right. So what would you get your president? And I am your there.
I think you set me up in this list. My president, definitely milk cages. It's only fair that he would have some place to store his milk.
Well, and why?
And I believe we were given a direct order.
I was going to say, why shouldn't he get what he has demanded? That's
he
true.
said, build cages. So I think we would go do that, and that would be presented to him at some official ceremony. It's a Festivus ceremony. Or
Yes,
something.
of course. We might even spring for a new poll. For
Oh,
something
you
like
have
that.
to. Yeah, I mean, I think the the guide, the style guide, or whatever it is, calls
Mhm.
for that, dictates it. All right, next on the list, the your skort peaker.
Uh, well, first of all, if you're not getting a present for your skort beaker, you're really screwing up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I think what you should get for your skort peaker is whatever she wants.
That is correct. We need a bell here, a ding, 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 ding. If you
You could,
overlook your skort peaker,
oh, well, you don't want to get your skort peaker like something like a vacuum.
or like a washer and dryer,
No, what kind of an idiot would do something like that?
terrible,
My word.
terrible.
Whew,
People do learn from their mistakes, but some other people do not learn from their mistakes.
that's true. What was it? Our pastor said that one time. Kids, there are stupid people out there. Your parents can yell at me later for this, but I want to let you know it anyway. Yeah.
You know, if no one else tells you, at least I did. That's right.
So, all right, we got to move on here. How about your Android? What do you get for the Android in your life?
This one's a little easier since we have an Android. He probably needs to see a Chris Nolan film. Or he needs to see all the Chris Nolan films. Probably the entire collection.
I'm thinking for developing an understanding of human nature.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the range of emotions, and I think that the time twist would probably, help balance it a little bit. So,
yeah. Well, and he'd probably, knowing ours, he'd probably develop some sort of algorithm for figuring out exactly what was really going on.
that would be handy for you since you're confused by most of the movies.
That's very true.
All right.
Cold.
What's the next one here? The guy that pumps gas at the Wawa.
Oh, well, that's easy. Considering the season and everything else, you don't just give him your warm greeting. I mean, of course, you should give him your warm greeting, but also probably a warm, nay, hot cup of Wawa hot chocolate.
I have things to say about this one. Why don't you get him, instead of a cup of hot chocolate that will grow cold quickly, why don't you just pump your own gas so that he doesn't have to?
Look,
why are you so lazy?
Where do you live that you pump your own gas? That's insane. Who does that?
Any one of 46 states in the continental U.S.
So you're saying there's 4 that you don't have to pump your gas?
No, I think there's only 2. I just think the other 2 aren't in the continent. Stop being lazy. Get out of the car and pump your gas.
All right, fine. Okay, well, here's a good one. The Bourbon Droid actually suggested this one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you get for the Bourbon Bets Research Group scientist in your life?
Oh. I'd say the Nobel Prize in rocketry, physics, and naming standards.
That's perfect. Especially the naming standards.
I think that's actually a new category this year.
Yeah, of course.
I heard that they added break dancing to the Olympics as a new sport, and at the same time they added naming standards to the Nobel Committee. So,
yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think it dumbs down the Olympics a little bit to have break dancing, but to know that naming standards have been added to the Nobel Prize, it does nothing but elevate it.
I think it's probably near the top of all of the Nobels.
Yeah.
So. All right.
The most complicated.
Next is this was requested. I don't know who. This was a listener request. The office security guy. Now this one's a little confusing to me because what office are they going to?
Well, so I'm wondering if they asked us just because we have that security badger.
Oh, okay.
So we have to answer the way we would answer, and that, obviously that's a pot of honey.
Yes. Um, that's straightforward. No need
Yeah,
to explain that one.
I think it's simple. What about? Okay, somebody's messing with us here, but what about your studio rabbit? What do you get for your studio rabbit?
Well, if the rabbit had been able to stick around and not had to be transported to the farm
Right.
to live out its days in peace, uh, probably would have given it the executive producer job.
Oh, that's exactly right.
I think it fared the best of all the three contestants.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
So, and at this point, I think it provided more entertainment value to us and to our listeners than either of the junior producer interns. So, yeah, definitely the executive producer job.
I think that's an understatement, but okay.
All right, and you and I both appreciate the shooting sports. It's
True
not a
story.
great time of year for it, but it will be coming up soon, just a couple months after we get through the dark Russian winter
Mm,
and the light.
maybe not so dark this year.
We'll see. It's dark right now. Uh, we like to go to the range, and you got to get something for your range marshal.
Of course you do.
What do you
So
get?
I think I think the way to go here is calling birds. And I'm thinking if you go calling birds, you have to go with four. Four. Yes.
That's the right number. Yeah.
All right. What about, okay, this one's a little out there, but bear with me. What do you get for an IT professional? But not just an IT professional. I'm talking about a non-local, you know, West Coast or some crazy thing like that IT professional.
The guy who probably has like every gadget,
Every book owns
every
every book
book.
already, probably.
Oh, it's you got to go throwback. I think you got to go with a Furby.
Mm, that's brilliant. You know, when I talked to Furby, he mentioned that he was looking for a good home.
There it is. So
All
if
right. Well,
I think if you have a non-local IT professional in your life, you should send a note to Bourbon Bets,
yeah,
and we will get you in touch with Furby. See if we can make a match, so to speak.
that's creepy.
As is Furby. You interviewed him, right?
Oh, trust me.
All right. Now this applies to quite a few of the listeners. Uh, in many neighborhoods, you have this person.
Wait. Are you saying that the listeners are this person, or are you saying that the?
I I'm not saying one way or another.
Okay, all right,
Saying this person exists. You either are this person or you know this person. Is that
gotcha,
fair?
gotcha. Okay,
So you should expect to receive this if you are that person. But the creepy old man at the end of the cul-de-sac, the one that you never see, like you know he lives there. The shutters are always closed, and it's always like raining and thundering, lightning over top of his house.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy."
Yeah, yeah. Whew, that one's not easy.
No, it's
Uh,
not, especially since you rarely see him.
yeah, the other day I was up like trying to peek between the boards of that are over top of the window, just to see if he's still alive. And that's making me think. I saw like one of those rigged out wooden sailing ships up
The
on the main.
models.
Yeah, well, I thought model at first, but then I noticed like there were some little plaques and different things, and they all seemed to be focused around like one ship. So here's my idea out of that. What you do is you give the old salt some of the Jefferson's Ocean bourbon.
Mm.
That way, that briny bite can bring him to tears as he remembers his 40 years at sea with the merchant marine and all the tragedy that befell he and his crew after that treacherous white whale appeared.
It's perfect. Jefferson Ocean. That'll do it.
I think that's it.
He might even come out of the door.
Maybe.
Maybe you might have to leave it at the door.
He might like come up to the door, and later if you stand on the stoop, I imagine you'll be able to hear those teardrops hitting the floor.
And the sound of a harpoon hook dragging against the wall.
You should run then if you hear that. All right, here's one, and I think this is actually for both of us.
Mm.
So I'll let you go first, though, since I just answered one. What do you get for your co-host, if you have a co-host in your life?
Everyone has a. So this is a misnomer, or it's a misunderstanding. Most people have. Everyone has a co-host.
Yeah.
You just maybe haven't met them yet or started podcasting yet.
Very true. Very true.
I'm gonna say a glass bottle of dust mites.
That's wonderful. Okay, I'll answer the same question. If you have a co-host in your life, well, we've already established you do. Once you find your co-host, the thing you give your co-host is a book on the Enneagram.
Uh-huh. I think we went two different ways there.
Yeah.
Is that a pro or a con Enneagram book? Or does it not matter?
I refuse to state my opinion at this juncture.
All right, leave that one alone. All right, this one's important. Again, like a co-host, everyone has someone who slanders them constantly in public.
Do tell.
So what do you get for your slanderer or ers, plural?
All right, this, as you said, this one's kind of a big deal. Because this is a Bourbon Vets podcast, you know, I don't want to talk about my personal slanderer, but for the slanderers of our show, the thing that I would get would probably be like a painting, and maybe it'd have like a table and some chairs, and there'd be dogs probably that sat in the chairs, and they'd be playing a game.
I can picture it. Monopoly?
Poker.
Oh, poker.
They're playing poker, I'm thinking.
But dogs can't hold cards. That's ridiculous.
Look, why do you think we have artists?
To show us what's possible. I got it.
There you
now,
go.
what material would that be painted on?
It probably, I personally, I would think it'd be a regular canvas, but it'd have to be a green canvas.
I was thinking maybe it would be like velvet, a velvet canvas.
That would be beautiful.
And I had an image of maybe you could even backlight it with like a black light.
Ooh, I like that.
And if we had the artist, if someone had commissioned an artist to paint this painting, they would have done it in glow-in-the-dark paints, so that when you turned the lights off and the backlight was on, you could still see it.
You just gave me a brilliant idea. So in normal light, it's dogs playing poker. When you turn on the black light, suddenly it's a picture of like 3 guys in Tennessee or something like that.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Just a thought.
That we haven't really put much into some of these, but that's just spitballing here. All right.
Last one. What, sir, would you get your Twitter stalker?
Well, again, everyone has a Twitter stalker, even if you're not on Twitter. You have one. This one you got to go pretty obscure.
Mm.
After all, it is Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if someone's a stalker, you can't just come right out and
You don't want to be obvious.
can't be obvious, can't give it away. So I think you got to go with something like I don't know what the right word is. A collection. Yeah, we'll go with collection.
A compound,
A
maybe.
compound of stately leavened roasted Slavic cereal grains.
I think that's brilliant.
I think that's the right way to go.
I mean, that's what I would go.
All right, very
All
good.
right. So,
I mean, I think
go
we've
ahead.
hit most of the people in your life. If we missed anyone, please send us a note, and we'll research what they should get and let you know.
Yeah, we could even. I'd be willing to maybe record some bourbon blurts of additional gift. Let us help you. Help us help you. In fact.
Help us. Help us.
Shh.
All right. So those are the people in your life, very specific people.
Yep. Yep.
But we did have a listener request for actual bourbon picks for the year as gifts.
That is correct.
So let's now turn to that list. Hey there, Bourbon Bets listeners. Brimstone Deacon here. I'll make this quick. We're sorry to interrupt this great episode, but Blue Dolly and I want to ask you to do us a few favors. First, go click subscribe on this podcast in your app if you haven't already done so. Second, go to youtube.bourbonbets.com and click subscribe on our channel. Third, go to itunes.bourbonbets.com and give us a 5-star rating and review. And finally, join our community at bourbonbets.locals.com where we post bonus content and events that aren't available on Twitter. It sounds like a lot, but we know you're up to the task. Many thanks, and now back to this great episode.
All right.
We each have two.
We each have two. That's correct. And then we have one that we collaborated on.
A collaborated pick. All right. I will go first.
That actually went worse than our arguments.
I have nothing to say. All right. My first pick, and I had this recently, is Old Tub.
I'm really angry. I'm still angry about this whole
I know
situation.
you're angry. This Old Tub is a Jim Beam unfiltered or wet bourbon. It's from an old recipe that they just started making again. And the unfiltered or wet has the oils still in it, right? So you get a little more coating.
Yeah.
As it's going down, it gives you the nice warming. I got notes of caramel, honey, and maple syrup. Very forward. It's a great bourbon. It's a great price for a bourbon this good. I think it's a 4-year, if I'm remembering right. Bottled in bond.
It sounds good.
It's, oh my gosh. If only, we were able to, maybe if you go to Wawa and get that guy to fill your car up with gas, you can come down and have some.
Wow. So should I do one now, or are you going to give both yours?
No, you should do one.
Okay. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of,
You can't put scotch on the bourbon list, all right? You have like 4 scotches here. It's bourbon.
well, look. I have no. All right, fine. I'll go with a bourbon. So I'm going to go with something that I had the last time I was actually at your house.
Mm-hmm.
That really surprised me. Really, really surprised me. And that's McKenna's. It's a Heaven Hill bottled in bond 10-year bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Really great. And it's like $30 or less.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay over 30, you're probably actually
don't pay
overpaying.
over
Go to
30.
a different store.
Yep.
Vanilla, like throughout the whole thing. But it's not like, you know how vanilla sometimes can get that like florally cloying kind of. This is like, it's tempered throughout the whole thing with oak and spice, and even in the finish you taste a little leather It's astonishingly good for the price. It really is.
I forgot to say the Old Tub, I believe, is $25 a bottle.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
And it's really that good?
it is. It's a limited release though, so I don't know how long they're gonna have it. So go stock up.
Yeah.
I agree on the McKenna's. Excellent for the price. All right, my second one is also one that I just had at the same time that I had Old Tub. I got these for a virtual bourbon tasting. The second one is Woodford Reserve's Double Oaked. And this is what I would consider a dessert bourbon. They put it in the barrel, they age it like regular Woodford Reserve, then they take it out and they put it in another barrel, brand new fired barrel, and it doesn't get more oaky, it gets sweeter.
Mm.
More, I got dark chocolate notes out
Oh,
of it. It's
that sounds
and
good.
if you eat a little bite of dark chocolate with it, it's unbelievable.
Mm.
Fantastic. This one is not cheap. I believe it is near $60 for 750, but it should last you a long time. It's not one you're gonna be sipping very often. I wouldn't think. I think it does
Yeah.
go well with dessert, and good this time of year especially. You're gonna have a lot of cakes in your life. You're gonna have a lot.
Sad. So
I just I don't think it would go with another type of dessert.
yeah. I can see how it wouldn't
It
go with
wouldn't.
anything else.
It wouldn't. Yeah, trust
It
me.
sounds like something for like, particularly. I'm thinking of like if you have a guy who loves bourbon, but his wife doesn't love bourbon.
Mm,
This sounds like one that might cross those lines over a bit.
absolutely.
Nice,
I think so.
nice. Okay, so my next one is an item of contention on this podcast, but that's okay. I more than once I've been known to be boldly against my co-host, and I will say definitely in this case, it's Rowan's Creek. It's Willet bestseller.
Is that even
Of
a
course.
real? Is that even a real distiller?
It sure is. Yeah, it is. So for me, it's sweet and spice and pretty much perfect. Whether it's so if you hold on to it in your mouth, you get molasses, you get maybe a little bit of dark chocolate if you really, think about it for a long time. But the initial taste is like caramel and pepper.
Hmm.
I love
This is the great thing about bourbon is that everybody can taste different things.
Yeah.
I do not love this one. It's not bad, but I just don't get anything special out of it like I do other ones. So that's why I pass on this one. But you and your wife both seem to love it. So
Yes, we do, very much so. And it's cheap.
Yeah.
Well, it's at least very reasonable.
it's a reasonable, yeah. All right, and finally our combined pick.
This one was actually easy because
It is easy.
you were drinking a lot more bourbon than I was when we started drinking bourbon together.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually introduced me to this bourbon as one of the first bourbons that we shared. It's underrated on its flavor. So much better at its price point than nearly all of its competition. It's great in a whiskey sour.
Mm-hmm.
You can grab a handle of this, call a few friends, and you can have. I mean, I don't know how you can't have an enjoyable evening.
Yep, agreed.
I'll let you announce it.
It's Bullet. It's Bullet.
Yep.
And we make the whiskey sour with maple syrup,
Of course.
not simple syrup, and it actually brings out more, I think, of the Bullet flavor.
Yeah, I feel like you don't lose the bourbon as much with the maple syrup in it as you would with simple syrup.
Yeah, it's not cloying like some of the simple syrups are.
Yep.
So, not really the time of year for whiskey sours for me, but
No,
A few more months now.
but well, yeah, a few more months now, and I can't bring myself to be one of those people that makes a mule out of everything under the sun.
No. Mm-mm.
So I think just straight for the winner.
Yeah, and this one is like you said in the middle of the price range where I would actually use this in a whiskey sour. I'd even put it in a toddy.
Yep, yep.
You don't want to put some of your higher end ones, because you're going to lose it because of the heat.
No, and I was really surprised when I made my hot toddy tonight. I thought the bird dog was going to make it not the best. I'm surprised that the lemon juice in the toddy helped balance out a little bit of the bird
Yeah,
dogginess.
it burned off all of the other chemicals that should have been distilled off at the distillery. I don't. Maybe no one remembers that. Go back and listen to the episode presentation of the bourbon for I can't remember which bet, and Bird Dog was the bourbon,
Yeah,
and you can hear us taste it for the first time.
and almost die, I think is the proper
That's
description.
right. So there are your bourbon picks, and there are your general gift suggestions for the X in your life. And like we said, send us more questions, and we only have a few more days till Festivus. After Festivus, don't bother sending us any questions until next year.
Well, now I have a question. Just how many X's do you have in your life?
Oh, let's see. I'm gonna count them.
We tanks, people.
That's it. We're out.
Wetanks.